And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Alright, let's be honest here. I get this in the mail, Horus. It's from Mayfair Games, and I like Mayfair Games. But then I read the tagline under it, Influence and Power in the Valley of the Kings. Valley of Kings. This looks slightly Egyptian. Egyptian! Come on! Can they not think of another theme? Okay. Inside the box, and I even looked at the back of the box, and they showed the picture, and I thought, well, that doesn't look so bad, and yet, because of the theme, it took a while for me to get it played. Then I played it, and it was a very enjoyable game. But, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about the game first. If you look at the game takes place with a whole bunch of these tiles. This is what you start the game with, these tiles. And there's also piles of 4 different tiles near the board. You can see that there's farmland, swamps, and I don't even remember what everything is, and nothing really matters. There's green, red, brown, and black. Now, if you look at these tiles, you'll see that there's different pictures on them. You know what those mean? Nothing. They're added there for flavor, because apparently having a giant bird picture makes you think that it's more of a farm field, or this giant tractor. All right, anyway. Okay, I'll stop ranting about the theme. But you have these, and then you have another huge pile here of more river tiles. But you're going to start here with the center tile, and these are the 2 ends of the river. On a player's turn, it's very simple. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to draw a tile from this black bag. And these tiles are one of these 4 types, or if you're lucky, the 1 Temple of Horus. There's only 1 in the bag, and can you believe I just drew it? What a lucky person. But usually you're drawing these normal tiles like this, and then you can place them anywhere you want, basically, as long as they touch other tiles. And when you place them, they either have to go completely next to a tile, or they can be offset by half like that. Now, there are a few rules, like these ends of the river tiles. You cannot completely block them in, but you can block in anything else. When you draw a river tile, you add another river tile to it, so you can do things like this. And as the game progresses, the river can branch off. And the reason these river end tiles are here are basically because they just cannot be completely surrounded. But any other tile can be. And what players are doing is, as the game goes on, they're going to be trying to creating different groups of the different types. Now, after you play a tile from the bag randomly, then players will look at a hand of cards that they have. Now, this hand of cards is 2 different things. On this, there's a number, like this upside down 5, and one of the kinds of tiles. Those 2 things mean nothing in correlation to each other. You look at them separately. First, the player, when he plays the card, looks at the kind of tile. He takes that tile off the pile, and he plays it anywhere he wants. So the bag draw is random. You don't know what you're going to get there. But the card allows you to pick which one you want. So, for example, let's say I played this one here, the black. That allows me to put a black tile down, and so I put it down right here. I can put it anywhere I want, remember, as long as it's attached to the other tiles. Now I look at the number. That number says 3. I'm allowed to place one of my tokens, and players all have a variety of tokens, including gold. Woo! All right. I can place it on any group of 3. Well, on this map right now, there's only 1 group of 3, and that's these 3 right here, and so I put it on there. And later on, if I want to put another one on there, I either have to play another card that says 3, or I have to grow the group in size to 4 or 5 and play the appropriate number and put it on it. Once it grows past 5, there's no way to put more things on it because these numbers only go up to 5. There is a question mark card, but that's 1 through 5, and that can be anything you want. So once it goes past 6, there's really no way to add any more tiles to it, except there's 2 different ways. One is to create another group, a small group, put your token in it, and then connect those in case blue, let's say blue was winning this one. He had 2 tokens in there. You could put one in this group and then connect those, and la-di-da, now you have 2 in that group also. Also, each player starts the game with one of these cards, which allows them to add 2 river tiles, but also lets you basically take one of your guys on a group that's next to the river, move down the river, and go to another group. This is actually a pretty neat card, and it's kind of a bummer that each player can only do this 1 time, because this is actually a very interesting feature of the game. I mean, I use it every game. I can't see how you wouldn't use it, but it'd be neat if you could do this more during the course of the game. The game is going to end when these stacks of tiles, when 2 of them run out, whether they be the water tiles or the different kinds of tiles here. Water tiles can also, when these are played, you can add to the river, or you can flip them over and create these dead zones, basically necropolises, and those are basically just there to block. At the end of the game, we look at each group, and we look at the different tokens in the groups, and we see who controls each group. So for example here, this is a single black. White controls that, so white gets 1 point. This is a double brown. White controls that also, so white gets 2 points. This giant group here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, has 2 golds, 2 blues, and a white. Gold and blue both control it, so they have 7 points each. The most points you can get off any one group is 10 points. You can get double points for a group if it's completely surrounded by the river, making an island, or you can get double points if a group is adjacent to the Temple of Horus, should this show up in the game, and it doesn't always. Alright, so that's basically the game in a nutshell. You play a tile randomly, then you get to pick a tile, and then you get to add a token to a group. This actually isn't a bad idea. The ever-expanding board game, the board with the half-offset tiles, that's a pretty neat thing. And there's this back-and-forth thing. I like how the cards aren't correlated. How you can put down this brown tile, but then you can put this, you can put a token on any one group that there is on the board without regards to this. And so there's a lot of back and forth. You're trying to grow group past 5 as quickly as possible once you control it, because it's harder for other players to take it over. Knowing when to use this river card and move down the river. Watching the river move, I hate to say this, but it's kind of thematic, as you see the river go and you see the different farmyards and stuff as the river flows all over the place. And it's a really interactive game, really nasty. I'm putting tiles in yours. It's no surprise that this is the same designer of Shark, the Acquire type game, in which there's just really a lot of nasty interaction. Same thing here. You have a nice group going, but other people are going to be trying to take your group over, trying to put tokens in, trying to surround it, trying to cut it off. Very, very interactive game. In fact, it's almost a more free-flowing, more interactive version of Carcassonne, I would say, because here you can take someone else's group away from them, and you can do it quite easily. A lot of back and forth. So what does the game have going against it? Why don't I just love it? Well, first of all is the theme. Like I said, Ancient Egypt, come on, pick something different. It's ridiculous. It just drives me nuts. Okay, but we can live with the ancient Egyptian theme, even though, again, like I said, these stupid symbols, it just drives me nuts. Tokens on symbols, on tiles, on the board. The problem is, this game really doesn't seem to introduce much stuff that's just innovative. When I play it with people, and I would say that a 4-player game is much more interesting than a 2-player game, because there's a lot more interaction going back and forth. But when I play it with people, they say, well, that was pretty fun. Do you want to play it again? It was okay, but it wasn't great. People aren't coming back wanting to play again. And you really can get messed up by luck, by drawing from, just not getting the cards you need, or having everyone else attack you. But I don't mind that. That's fun. And again, I like the free-flowing board. It's just that Horus would be so much better if many other games weren't in existence. It's very similar to Carcassonne in some senses, and Carcassonne's better. The placing and because the theme is not strong enough, it's not strong enough to overcome the fact that it's a mediocre game, then that's basically what it just becomes. It becomes a mediocre game. Had this been released 15 years ago, I would have said, wow, this is fun, this is interesting. Nowadays, I say, well, it's okay. You won't go wrong. If it's something that you seem interested in, you play, you'll have a lot of fun. And, if you don't, let's say you don't have Carcassonne or something, this is a game you'll play a lot. You can play with, a 2-player game. I play with my wife, lots of fun. Play with other groups of people. I wish it went higher than 4 players, but still, it plays very quickly. But just overall, there's just something not there. And that not there, I won't lie, as I played several games of this, each game I enjoyed a little bit more than before. But I still keep thinking it could be better. I'm not sure exactly how. It just didn't seem to have the whole package of fun involved.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.